Hey everybody, it's Saturday and there's a quick thought that I had to put out here. You've got all these great characters that are coming out. You've got things like John Byrne's Elsewhere that's coming out, and all of these certain things that come from creators that were working in the 80s. They were working at a time where they didn't have Snapchat, they didn't have Facebook, they didn't have social media at all, really. And so my question is this: did they have better thought processes, more solid thought processes than, say, modern creators, where they didn't have all of these distractions? Sure, there were still distractions. There was still music and movies and date life and wife and husband and, all of these responsibilities. There were those. But there wasn't so many non-obligations that we've given ourselves over to, okay? Not knocking YouTube at all, but that's something that, I could personally eat up 3 or 4 hours a day watching videos and things like that, learning things and being entertained. But I could spend that time writing. I could spend that time editing. I could spend that time trying to improve my own pencil and ink artwork, which is terrible, and y'all have seen that. And all I can think about is, if I didn't have all of these distractions that I allow myself. I'm not saying that YouTube has sucked me in, or that my phone is forcing me to watch these videos or to make these videos or whatever. But what I'm saying is simply that we don't have as much free time to devote to these things if we get sidetracked by other things, such as social media, such as familial obligations, and things like that. So, has social media totally destroyed the idea that creatives can be, as good as they could have been 30 years ago? Take the same person that, is on X or on Blue Sky or whatever, that's arguing against the Republicans, arguing against the Democrats, arguing against social injustice, arguing against whatever. If they didn't have that platform to go and not waste time, but give, time that could be better spent somewhere else. If they didn't do that, would they have the ability to create even greater stories, larger worlds, more believable characters, more believable situations? Could those things all come into play if we didn't have this great/ungreat thing called social media? You have creators that get on there and they write great books, don't get me wrong, but they also engage constantly with people who have different ideas, ideologies, political views, and things like that against their own. And they spend energy and time and essence that, personally, as I'm approaching 50, I don't have that kind of energy to sit there and create amazing stories and sit there and argue with everybody online. I don't find myself with that kind of energy. So what do you guys think? Do you think, and I'm not saying people should stay out of politics. I'm saying that should writers focus more on their writing and less on their screen time to go and argue their own points? There used to be things called Wizard Magazine and other comics magazines, the Comics Journal, things like that came out and tried to give the creators a voice. But it was a forum. It was kind of a one-way forum. Okay, they could explain, but they couldn't really argue that because there was no place to, give a counterpoint. Maybe they would get involved in a letter writing campaign against said writer, and the writer would go back and forth with them that way. But there was no Facebook, there was no X, there was no Twitter, there was no any of that to go back and forth to expend energy that, like I said, I personally don't find that I have. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that writers should spend more time writing and creating these worlds and creating the absolute best worlds that are possible out of their minds? Or do you think that, social media and phone drain and brain drain and all of that have just gotten to the point where it is sucking the life out of everything? I personally think that Watchmen was created and Dark Knight was created, and I don't know that if we had all of these things in 1985, 1986, I don't know that those things would have been as great as they are today. I just don't believe that. I just don't buy that. On the other hand, you have that idea that people can multitask and they can split their time amongst things. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about this issue. Is it a non-issue? Am I just coming up with something to, waste time with and jaw about myself when I could be doing my writing, editing, scripting, whatever? Just let me know what you guys think. And thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the videos to get more content like this. And let's talk comics in the comments. Thanks, guys. Have a great Saturday.